Ladies and gentlemen, dreams inspire us to reach for the stars, but without discipline, they often remain out of our grasp. Discipline isn't just about self-control, it's the constant effort, the daily commitment, and the unwavering focus that bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be. While dreams give us direction, it's discipline that turns them into a reality. Without it, dreams remain mere fantasies, fleeting and unattainable. Many people believe that dreaming alone is enough. But the truth is, without consistent action, those dreams will never manifest. Dreaming is a wonderful experience, but it only remains a possibility until discipline takes over and puts in the work. It's not motivation that drives success, but discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is steady. It ensures that progress continues, regardless of how we feel on any given day. While motivation can ignite the spark, it is discipline that keeps the fire burning. Discipline builds habits, and habits, over time, shape our destiny. It's those small, seemingly minimally actions done consistently that have the power to create massive results. Every day you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're laying the groundwork for your future. In the short term, discipline might feel uncomfortable. It often requires sacrifices, whether it's giving up leisure time to study or putting in extra hours at work. But the rewards of discipline are always worth the effort. Short-term pain leads to long-term gain. The discipline we cultivate today builds the foundation for our future successes. Finally, it's important to remember that no matter what your dream is, there's a universal truth. Every successful person walks across the same bridge. The bridge between dreams and reality is made of consistent effort, focus, and action. Whether you're building a business, mastering a skill, or working towards a personal goal, the discipline to do the work day in and day out is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Dreams without discipline remain fantasies. Is more than just a catchy phrase, it's a hard truth about how the world works. Every one of us carries dreams in our hearts. Some dream of becoming successful entrepreneurs. Others want to build a fit and healthy body, travel the world, buy a beautiful home for their family, or leave a legacy that matters. These dreams ignite passion. They excite us. They give us a reason to hope for more. But there's a trap many fall into. Thinking that dreaming is enough. You can spend hours visualizing your future, feeling motivated after watching a video or talking passionately about your goals to your friends. It gives a temporary high. It feels like you're already on the journey. But dreaming by itself costs nothing. It demands no sacrifice. It asks for no effort. And because of that, if it's not paired with discipline, it becomes a comfortable illusion. Something we visit in our minds when reality feels hard, but never something we truly build in our lives. Discipline is the workhorse behind every realized dream. It's waking up when you'd rather sleep. It's choosing to study when others are partying. It's pushing through the reps at the gym when your body wants to quit. It's saying no to distractions and yes to the grind. Discipline is what shows your dream that you mean business, that you're not just a dreamer, you're a doer. Without discipline, dreams float. They don't land. They don't turn into structured goals or daily habits. They don't survive the challenges that inevitably come. Life throws obstacles, fear, failure, setbacks, criticism, and when there's no discipline, even the most powerful dreams crumble under that pressure. They turn into regrets, into what-ifs, into maybe someday stories that never get told. But with discipline, even a small dream has the potential to grow into something extraordinary, because discipline multiplies over time. What starts as a simple habit, like reading 10 pages a day or saving a small amount of money each week, becomes a foundation. And on that foundation, real achievements are built. Dreams give you the why, discipline gives you the how. One without the other is incomplete. Together, they form a powerful force, the vision to imagine a better life and the strength to create it. When people say follow your dreams, what they often forget to mention is this: only if you're willing to put in the work. Dreams without action are daydreams. Discipline turns those dreams into goals, those goals into plans, and those plans into results. And the deeper truth is, it's not the size of the dream that determines success. It's the size of your discipline, the quiet, consistent commitment to show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Dreams will always whisper to you, but only discipline will give them a voice loud enough to be heard by the world. Consistency is more powerful than motivation, because it doesn't rely on feelings, moods, or temporary bursts of inspiration. Motivation is like a spark. It's intense and exciting, but often short-lived. You might watch a motivational video or hear a powerful speech and feel ready to conquer the world. But that feeling eventually fades. Life gets in the way. Distractions come up, energy levels drop, and suddenly that same goal that felt so exciting yesterday now feels overwhelming. That's where most people stop. They wait for motivation to return before they take action again. The problem is, motivation is unpredictable. You can't count on it to show up when you need it. You can't build anything lasting if you're only acting when you feel like it. Consistency, on the other hand, is steady and reliable. It's not flashy or thrilling, but it gets the job done. It's the habit of showing up whether you feel like it or not. When you practice consistency, you're training your mind and body to keep going, even when the excitement wears off. You're telling yourself that results matter more than moods. You might not always be motivated to go to the gym, write a chapter, study for an exam, or work on your goals. But if you show up consistently, progress becomes inevitable. And progress is what builds momentum. That momentum, in turn, brings motivation back. So ironically, consistency often leads to motivation, not the other way around. The key difference is that motivation is emotional, while consistency is behavioral. You can feel motivated and still do nothing, but when you're consistent, action becomes part of your routine. It becomes less of a decision and more of a default setting. You remove the option of quitting. That's powerful. Imagine someone learning to play the guitar. In the beginning, motivation is high. They dream of playing their favorite songs and impressing their friends. But the learning curve is steep. Their fingers hurt. The chords are confusing. If they rely on motivation, they'll likely quit after the excitement fades. But if they commit to just 30 minutes of practice every day, even on bad days, they'll improve slowly but surely. Over time, what was once hard becomes natural. What was once painful becomes enjoyable. That's the power of consistency. Consistency also builds discipline. Discipline is like a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're training your discipline. That discipline then spills over into other areas of life. You start becoming someone who follows through, someone who honors their commitments, and that reputation with yourself is priceless. It builds self-respect and confidence. You begin to trust yourself more, and that trust is essential for long-term success. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep going. Another important aspect is that consistency compounds. The small things you do every day may not look like much, but over time they add up to something massive. Think about a drop of water falling on a rock. One drop does nothing. 10 drops, still nothing. But over months and years, those drops can erode even the hardest stone. That's what consistency does. It creates transformation through repetition. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. In a world where everyone is chasing shortcuts, hacks, and instant gratification, consistency is your competitive edge. It's what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only talk about them. It's not about how fast you start. It's about how long you can keep going. The truth is, you won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel driven. But if you've built the habit of showing up anyway, you won't need to rely on motivation. You'll have something stronger, a system, a rhythm, a routine, and that's where real success comes from. Discipline builds habits, and habits shape destiny, because everything we become is a direct result of what we do repeatedly. Discipline is the starting point, the force that helps us make decisions that align with our goals, even when they're uncomfortable or difficult. It's what pushes us to wake up early, to study when we'd rather scroll through our phone, to eat healthy when junk food is more tempting, or to say no to distractions when focus is required. Without discipline, our actions are ruled by impulses, emotions, and convenience. With discipline, we gain control over our choices. Those consistent choices, made day after day, start to form habits. Habits are powerful because they automate our behavior. When something becomes a habit, it no longer needs willpower or conscious effort. It becomes second nature. Brushing your teeth, locking the door before leaving, checking your messages in the morning. These are examples of how behavior, when repeated long enough, becomes effortless. In the same way, if discipline leads you to read every day, exercise regularly, work with focus, or plan your time efficiently, those actions start becoming automatic. You no longer have to struggle to do them. They become your new normal. That's how habits are born, through consistent discipline. Once habits take root, they begin to shape how your life unfolds. Good habits lead to growth, health, productivity, and long-term success. Bad habits lead to decline, distraction, regret, and missed opportunities. Your habits decide how you spend your time, how you treat your body, how you respond to challenges, how much you learn, and how far you progress. Over months and years, these repeated behaviors carve out your path. If you consistently work hard, learn, stay focused, and push through discomfort, your life moves in a very different direction than if you procrastinate, avoid effort, or give in to every urge. That's how habits shape destiny, not in a magical or mystical sense, but in a very real, practical way. Your destiny isn't something that just happens to you. It's built every day through the choices you make and the actions you repeat. Someone who exercises discipline early in life to learn skills, build relationships, and manage their time is laying down a foundation that leads to future success. The person who doesn't might find themselves struggling later, not because they were unlucky, but because their habits didn't support the life they wanted. It's easy to blame circumstances, but more often than not, our outcomes are tied to our routines. Discipline is hard in the beginning because it goes against comfort, but it gets easier with time, especially when it starts turning into habit. That's the sweet spot, when you've disciplined yourself long enough for the right habits to take hold. Then, even on days when you don't feel strong, your habits carry you forward. They become a safety net that keeps you on track. You no longer have to fight as hard because you've created a structure that supports you. People often admire others who are successful or wise or physically fit or highly skilled. But what they often don't see is the layer beneath it all, the habits that created that success. And beneath those habits lies discipline. It's not luck. It's not overnight change. It's the result of showing up over and over again, choosing the hard thing when it would have been easier to quit. That repeated choice, shaped by discipline, forms habits. And those habits over time determine the trajectory of a person's life. They decide whether someone stays stuck or moves forward, whether they survive or thrive, whether they live passively or shape their own future. Short-term pain, long-term gain means that enduring discomfort now often leads to greater rewards in the future. This concept applies to almost every area of life: health, education, career, finances, and personal growth. The pain in this phrase isn't always physical. It can be the mental effort of studying, the emotional challenge of self-discipline, the inconvenience of hard work, or the frustration of delaying gratification. It's the temporary struggle, the sacrifice, and the resistance that feels tough in the moment. But that struggle has a purpose. It lays the foundation for something better that lasts far longer than the pain itself. Take physical fitness as an example. Exercising regularly is not always enjoyable. Muscles ache, workouts are tiring, and progress can be slow. But those short bursts of discomfort strengthen the body, improve health, and increase energy over time. Skipping that pain might feel easier today, but it often results in long-term issues like weakness, fatigue, or poor health. The same principle applies to studying or learning a new skill. Spending hours reading, practicing, or preparing for exams might seem tedious and boring, especially when entertainment and distractions are just a click away. But that short-term effort compounds into knowledge, qualifications, and confidence that can shape your future. In relationships too, the idea holds true. Having a difficult conversation, admitting a mistake, or setting healthy boundaries can be uncomfortable in the moment. But facing that discomfort can lead to deeper trust, better communication, and more meaningful connections in the long run. Avoiding those moments may seem easier, but it often leads to unresolved issues and long-term emotional distance. So the short-term pain of honesty or vulnerability becomes the price for long-term emotional strength and clarity. Financial decisions also reflect this mindset. Saving money, resisting impulsive purchases, or investing instead of spending all feels like a sacrifice now. It might seem like missing out on pleasures or luxuries, but over time that discipline leads to financial freedom, stability, and the ability to afford things that matter more. The short-term pain of saying no to momentary pleasures creates the long-term gain of a secure and empowered life. Even in careers and passions, this principle is key. Working hard when no one is watching, staying late, finish a project, or continuing through rejection and failure all come with struggle. But these efforts build resilience, improve skills, and eventually opened doors that others might not reach. People who succeed often aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who endured the pain and discomfort that others avoided. The reverse of this phrase is also worth considering. Short-term gain often leads to long-term pain. Choosing comfort, avoiding effort, giving in to distractions, or chasing easy rewards may feel good now, but it often results in regret, missed opportunities, or long-term consequences. The temporary relief you get from avoiding difficulty can eventually turn into permanent problems. That's why the mindset of embracing short-term pain is so valuable. It changes how you view struggle, not as a setback, but as a setup for future success. It's easy to wish for a smooth road and instant results, but real growth takes time. And most meaningful progress involves going through something uncomfortable, whether it's waking up early, saying no to temptations, committing to routines, or pushing through boredom and fatigue. The pain doesn't last forever. What lasts is the result it creates. Over time, that pain becomes worth it. The discomfort fades, but the growth remains. Every successful person walks across the same bridge, because the journey to success, while unique in its destination, often shares the same foundational path. That bridge is built from challenges, failures, persistence, learning, discipline, and sacrifice. No matter the field, business, sports, arts, science, or leadership, every individual who rises to the top has had to cross through struggle. The path might differ in style, but the structure remains the same. It demands growth through discomfort, lessons through mistakes, and progress through consistent effort. This bridge symbolizes the process that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. On one side stands the dream, goal, or the ambition. On the other side is the outcome: success, fulfillment, recognition, or mastery. But the space between isn't filled with luck or shortcuts. It's filled with repetition, late nights, early mornings, self-doubt, and continuous learning. The bridge is where people are tested. It's where their commitment is challenged, their patience stretched, and their mindset shaped. That's why no one gets to the other side without stepping on that bridge and walking the same steps that countless others have walked. The people who succeed are not always the most talented or the most fortunate. They are often the ones who kept walking even when it was hard. They embraced failure as feedback. They understood that fear, rejection, criticism, and delay are part of the path. That bridge doesn't promise comfort, but it guarantees growth. It doesn't guarantee speed, but it promises direction. Whether you're building a business or chasing a creative dream, you'll find yourself on that same narrow, shaky bridge at some point. The fear of falling, the temptation to turn back, and the uncertainty of what lies ahead are part of the experience. Some try to skip the bridge. They search for shortcuts, hacks, or instant results. But success built without struggle is fragile. It doesn't last because the foundation isn't strong. Walking the bridge is what builds that foundation. It's where discipline becomes a habit, where resilience is forged, and where belief in oneself is tested and proven. Even the most iconic names, people who changed industries, inspired generations, or created masterpieces, had to walk that bridge. They had failures, faced rejection, felt like giving up, and questioned themselves. But they didn't stop walking. The bridge also humbles everyone. No matter how big the dream or how confident the individual, the process equalizes everyone. It removes entitlement and forces people to earn their place. That's what makes the success at the other end meaningful. It's not handed out, it's walked toward, step by step. And those who walk the bridge don't just achieve external success, they become different people by the time they reach the other side. They grow wiser, stronger, and more capable. The journey transforms them. Even those who start from different backgrounds or with different advantages still have to cross the bridge. Resources can help. Connections might open doors. But the inner journey, the real work, still has to be done. No one can walk it for you. No one can carry you across. You have to take those steps yourself. The doubts, the obstacles, the slow progress, they're all part of the test. And the people who succeed aren't the ones who had no obstacles, but the ones who didn't let those obstacles stop them. What this idea truly highlights is that success is accessible. The bridge is open to anyone. It doesn't care where you're from, how old you are, or what your past looks like. What it requires is willingness to walk, to persist, and to keep moving forward. And if you do, step by step, no matter how slow, you eventually reach the other side, just like every successful person before you. The truth is simple. Dreams without discipline remain fantasies. Everyone has aspirations, but it's discipline that transforms those dreams into tangible goals. It's not enough to feel motivated for a moment. Consistency is what keeps you going when motivation fades. Discipline is the glue that holds everything together. It builds habits, and those habits ultimately shape our destiny. Success doesn't come from one grand gesture. It's the result of repeated small efforts, day in and day out. Yes, short-term pain often accompanies the road to success, but it's that temporary sacrifice that sets the foundation for long-term gain. And finally, every successful person walks across the same bridge, the bridge of discipline. Whether in business, sports, or life, the destination is the same. Those who endure, who remain consistent, and who commit to the daily grind are the ones who reach success. The bridge to achievement is never easy, but it's always the same, and it leads to the life you've always dreamed of.